Breaking news! Sony disagrees with regulators. The murder of Sonic the Hedgehog has been downloaded 1 million times. Arc 2 is delayed. And watch out for a future Mario! Extra, hear all about it! Hey guys, welcome to the podcast whose dream is singing and dancing and making people happy. I'm Matthew, and joining me is the Dean Slater on all platforms. I just call him Dad.
Hey, what's up?
Not a whole lot. What have you been doing?
Oh, well, if you go to patreon.com as a silver member, you'll find the editorials for this week. Reveals what I've done for not too different. I mean, it is different, but like it's a fun story that took a portion of my week. And that's what I've been doing.
Oh, really? Is it about the scammer person?
Yeah, it's about me scamming a scammer. You're absolutely right. And boy, it was did I end up on the winning side for sure. Both times I didn't get scammed at all, but man, just you have to listen to it. I'm just saying, you have to listen to this editorial. It was phenomenal.
Oh, awesome. And from Twitch's graveyard, we have Gavin.
Hola.
How are you doing?
Washing a pan right now.
Oh, that's fun. Well, this is Extra, your weekly gaming news podcast covering the news leading up to Sunday, April 9th, 2023. And if you like us, you can go to patreon.com/thebriefingroom. Let's get to some news. Say it with me. More stories from the acquisition. Sony disagrees with the regulators. The regulators in question is the Commission and Markets Authority, or the CMA. They're over the UK. In February, the CMA agreed with Sony about the acquisition being detrimental, but changed their opinion last month when Microsoft showed that they were willing to share. Some of Sony's disagreements are that the CMA had previously calculated lifetime player value on typical Microsoft documents created in the ordinary course of business, which had been used to suggest that there was a strong incentive to keep Call of Duty off PlayStation, and that for its new findings, it allegedly adopts without apparent explanation Microsoft's own adjusted lifetime value estimates. That was a lot. The CMA's new conclusion wrongly downplays the significant strategic benefits to Microsoft in adding Activision content to Game Pass. The CMA now concluded that not a single user with less than 10 hours of gameplay or $100 to spend on COD would switch from PlayStation to Xbox, something that Sony now questions. Using Minecraft as an example of a game Microsoft kept multi-platform doesn't work because Minecraft is a single-release game that is already in users' hands, and that it does not drive anything like the level of gameplay engagement or purchasing decisions as COD. Final ruling for CMA is due April 26th. People that wrote about this story are Chris Scullion at VGC, Salman Saladin at Game Rant, Eric Van Allen at Destructoid, Ryan Dinsdale at IGN, Eddie McCook at GameSpot, and James Batchelor at GameIndustry.biz. All right, guys, I did a lot of talking. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, my thoughts are that this is pretty predictable. We knew that everyone that was paying attention saw that industry analysts were like, "This is going through." All the industry analysts were like, "There's no reason for this not to go through. It's going to go through. It may take some time," and boy, has it. Remember, this started in mid-January of last year, so we're coming up on 18 months, in not terribly distant future. And so, we knew that this was going to be happening. Also, man, me and Landon were talking about this not too long ago too, and Landon was like, when they first were talking about how Microsoft could make COD worse on PlayStation, he's like, keep in mind, Landon is a Sony pony, like he is PlayStation through and through, and he's like, it's weird that PlayStation would say that because PlayStation has spent the last 10 years making Call of Duty worse on Xbox.
Did you just say Sony pony?
Yeah, he's a Sony pony. he even admits he's a Sony pony. You can
I
ask
have
him.
never heard that term, and I fucking love it.
Oh yeah, no, Sony pony. Sony pony and then Xbot.
Sony pony or Xbot? Okay.
Yeah, and then there's just Nintendo fanboy is the other one, which is like, well, yeah, I mean they're all fanboys. It's like give us something creative, like Nintendo heads or something. I mean, we can workshop that, but anyway, it's just, and he's right. Like
Nintendoosh.
Nintendoosh. I like that one. But yeah, he's right though. Like the last 10 years or so, Sony has made it so that there's been features missing from Call of Duty on Xbox for 6 months to a year. And it's like, oh well, you're getting this feature on the previous Call of Duty, but the new Call of Duty's out with this feature that's only on PlayStation. PlayStation's been doing that for years. So, and then even with some of this stuff where it talks about, their disagreements with the CMA, and like a lot of stuff they're talking about is stuff that they do. And again, I've mentioned before, I understand why Sony's fighting this. I get it. But, man, and I understand why they've said some of the things they've said, but it does not look good on them PR-wise. Like, they're not trying to look good PR-wise. They're trying to, prevent this deal from going through. That is their main goal. Well, man, does it just keep making them look worse and worse and make Xbox look better and better. It should be the opposite way around. It should be the person trying to make this just crazy. It's $69 billion. It should be the company making such a large purchase and such large consolidation of the industry looking like the bad guy. Somehow Sony's flipped the script and made it look like they're the good guy. It's just crazy. But anyway, what outside of the Sony Pony revelation, what do you think, Gavin?
I do think that the whole thing about them saying that like people who spend less than 10 hours or $100 on Call of Duty won't make the switch to Xbox just because they took it off PlayStation. I'm like, that's a whole fucking lie. I'm about to say there are people that make Call of Duty their entire fucking like their primary game, and if they can't have it on PlayStation, they have a PlayStation, they will switch to fucking Xbox, even if they don't get to play. But 10 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I would argue that Call of Duty players, like the Call of Duty players you're talking about that only play Call of Duty, I would argue that
I will
play
say
more
though,
than 10 hours.
I will say though, no, there are some people that they just happen to have a PlayStation and they don't have the time to play games, but when they do, they play Call of Duty.
But that's still 10 hours. 10 hours is not that much time in the grand scheme of things. Like, you think a match is typically, half hour, 15 minutes, half hour. So you're talking. I mean,
hey, some people. Well, regardless, my point was that like the statement is bullshit, but I don't think that enough people are going to switch over to fucking matter.
No,
I think you're going to have people be like. I think you're going to have some people that, again, fall in those parameters that they were talking about, are like, fuck PlayStation, I want my Call of Duty and go to Xbox anyways. But it's not going to be enough to give them to actually make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not going to make much of a difference.
And personally,
yeah,
Call of Duty's full of a lot of toxic people. I mean, a lot. I mean, every game does, but
yeah,
I seem to notice it more in Call of Duty. And if they all go to fucking Xbox, that just means PlayStation is going to be even more fun because we want to deal with as much toxicity.
Yeah, Now Call of Duty players are known to be toxic. That's a common thing. Mm-hmm. I've seen so many clips of them saying just the worst things, like on stream, like people that only stream Call of Duty. It's like, yikes. That's cringe, bro. Said that right, didn't I?
Now, don't get me wrong. We're still going to have toxicity, but it won't be nearly as much. Yeah,
toxicity is going to exist regardless. I mean, you have to fight it for sure. You can't, if you let toxicity fester, it will grow. So you gotta try to nip it in the bud as best as you can, but it's always going to exist. But yeah.
Speaking of toxicity, I put in game chat on Overwatch one day.
That's
because we were playing. We were playing our fucking heart out. There was only one guy in voice chat. I have my mic, but I was muted because I don't talk.
Yeah,
but like, he's just having fun, and you can tell our team's starting to get frustrated. They're not saying anything, but you can tell by the way they're playing they're starting to get frustrated.
Yeah,
and we were playing our hearts out, and we ended up, not making it to point. We got pretty far, but we didn't make it all the way to point, meaning it was going to be that much harder to defend the point. And all I typed in was "good push," and like this dude was like, "Thanks, Graveyard." It's like putting some positivity back into the game. I love it. I'm like, I literally just said "good push." I was like, the fact that somebody is actually appreciative of that says a lot about how toxic the gaming scene is.
Oh yeah, I remember there was a time I was trying to get into multiplayer games, specifically through the Halo Master Chief Collection, because I had this idea. I was like, man, if there's one game I would, and I still kind of believe this, if there's one game I would want to, quote, platinum, it would be this game with over 700 achievements, just being able to say, hey, I got all 700 plus achievements in this game. Which I still do think it would be cool, but I've since given up that dream.
So if you tried doing that shit, in high school, you'd be like, guys, instead of getting laid, this is what I've been doing.
But so I was trying to get into the multiplayer aspect. But there was one moment that does stand out. where I was playing, and it was Team Slayer, and so our team was just getting our asses wiped. And there was one dude on voice chat. I was on voice chat too, but like you, I was just muted. I wasn't gonna say anything. And this dude on voice chat just was going off, cussing all this out. He's like, "You're bringing down my rank. Blah, 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 blah. We gotta stay together. We gotta, work together. We can't just keep running off." Which Halo Slayer, I have never played a game of Halo Slayer where everyone is, on the team is working together. It is always running off and doing your own thing, trying to get the kills. Because that's all it is. It's just a death match where it's team with the most kills wins. And so you're trying to get the most kills. But anyway, at one point, someone joins the chat, and he's like, "Sorry it took me so long. I was trying to find my headset." He's like, "You need to chill out, dude." The guy goes, "You guys are ruining my rank," and he's like, "We're all having fun here."
Honestly,
like,
when you started this, I thought you were gonna say he was like, "Sorry it took me so long. I was trying to find a fuck to give."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, are we even playing ranked? I had no idea that this game even had a ranked mode." And he's just laughing, and the guy's getting so pissed off. And that was the one moment I witnessed that was toxic. And yeah, I was like, yeah, there's a reason I don't like multiplayer games.
There was one time I was playing tank on Overwatch, and this dude was getting really pissed off because instead of facing off against the other tank, I was going towards the back. I was like walking past the tank and the DPS and going towards their backline healers to get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's what you do in Overwatch 2. You, as a tank, you create space for your team, and you fuck up their backline. You don't attack the tank until their fucking backline is gone, because that's just how it is now. This dude's getting pissed off. He's like, why are you ignoring the tank? You're the only one who can fight the other tank. You're a tank. I was like, actually, no, there's 2 DPS that can fight the tank. Secondly, I'm going after the healers that are healing the tank. I'm like, you don't go after the healers. It's like, you go after the tank. I'm like, this isn't Overwatch 1. But like, it's the same game. Like, actually, it's not. They took a tank out of the entire, lineup of the team composition, meaning now there's 2 healers for 1 tank instead of 2 healers for each tank.
Yeah.
There's more healing going into this tank, meaning we cannot kill this motherfucker until we kill the healers. Like, you can't do it. Like, it's not a matter of, oh, you can, but it's more difficult. You cannot kill a tank if both of the healers are even semi-competent.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much healing getting thrown into this motherfuckers. And like, they're like, it's still the same game just because the name changed. I'm like, no, it's a fundamental, like, yes, it is the same game. The characters play mostly the same. I was like, the objectives, mostly the same. But the team composition changed, which has drastically changed the way the game is played. You take a tank, because it used to be 2 tank. They took a whole ass tank out of the team composition. You realize how much that fundamentally changes the way a game is played like that?
Yeah.
Nuts.
Well, from a predictable response by Sony to one that we couldn't predict, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog has been downloaded 1 million times in 5 days. This comes from social media manager / executive producer Katie Stranowski. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm just a kid. Please don't get mad at me. Over 1 million of you have grabbed the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's currently the number 61 highest rated game on Steam of all time. Absolutely unreal. Thank you all so much. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog was released on April Fool's Day. It is a point-and-click visual novel where you are trying to solve Sonic's murder, and you play a created character of your own whatever. It's a character you created. People who wrote this story are Chris Scullion at VGC, Adam Bankhurst at IGN, Timothy Monbleu at Destructoid, Joseph Yaden at GameSpot, and Ed Nightingale at Eurogamer.
I am one of those 1 million that have downloaded. I have not played yet. I've been too busy. But I have the game, and I plan to play it.
So essentially, Sonic gets killed, and your Sonic OC becomes the detective.
Yes. And I guess the beginning, like it is a murder mystery like party, like a murder mystery cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So there's supposed to be a quote murder, but
then Sonic actually fucking dies.
From what I understand at the beginning, yeah, your character's like, no, I think he's actually dead. They're like, no, it's just a game. Don't worry about it. So, that's what I understand is how it begins. Your character's like, I don't think this is pretend. But I don't know how it ends up turning out. But I was listening to, the Kit and Krista podcast, and they used to work at Nintendo, and that's what most of their podcast is about, is how Nintendo runs, and answering questions, because Nintendo is so close to the vest kind of company, like how the internals work and everything, and telling stories about things that they went through while working Nintendo. And when they were talking about this game, they were like, what would have happened to us? Because this game, I'm sure they hired developers to help them make it, but this game was made by the social media team for Sonic Team. Like, it was the social media team that made this game, essentially. And so Kit and Krista worked at social media at Nintendo, and they're like, do you guys want to know what would have happened if we had suggested a game where Mario gets murdered to be released on April Fool's Day? We would have been fired. Nintendo would not have let us even finish the pitch for that game before firing us and escorting us out the building.
This is like, we would have been fired.
Which is kind of funny, but they do some weird shit with Sonic, and I low-key kind of love some of the dumbass stuff they do with Sonic. Like, as bad as Sonic 06 was, and it was real bad, it was so funny. A Sonic game that looked and felt like it was Sonic meets Final Fantasy, and Sonic kisses a Final Fantasy girl. Hilarious. What a decision. But how do you feel about this April Fool's game getting like 1 million downloads in 5 days?
I find it hilarious that probably one of the most popular Sonic games to ever fucking exist in the modern era.
Yeah.
Is a game where just Sonic fucking dies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
People are probably like, oh god, not another Sonic game. Sonic's dead. Okay, maybe I'm not picking it. Dude, I wonder if Game Grumps is gonna fucking play it, because I know Game Grumps plays like all the Sonic games.
There's not a doubt in my mind.
Dude, if they don't, I'll be so upset.
Also, I just gotta say, regardless of the fact that this is a free game made by the social media team for an April Fool's Day, I don't want to say stunt, but an April Fool's Day stunt.
Yeah.
take all that into consideration. If it was, near the bottom, it'd be like, yeah, it's near the bottom, but like, there's an April Fool's Day thing by the social media team, whatever. It's an April Fool's Day thing by the social media team, and it's ranked 61 all time on Steam.
Yeah, I know. It's fucked.
It's in the top 100. There's thousands.
It's like, damn, you guys can't make a game good. You can't guys legitimately make a game good enough to be top 100, but you can fuck around and make one.
Yeah, but like 61 is really good regardless of the situation for the game. Like, there's, I said thousands. There's probably closer to millions of games on Steam. Like, Steam has a massive library, and for them to be 61 highest rated, insane.
Well, while Sonic is having success for once, Arc 2 is delayed. This comes from a blog post on Arc's website. After careful consideration, we have decided to delay the sequel launch to the end of 2024, when it will still launch exclusively on Xbox, Game Pass, and Windows distribution platforms. We put much thought into delaying Arc 2 for the betterment of the final product and the team's well-being. This news will be disappointing to many. We feel it too, but we're confident this heavy decision is the right one. So why the delay? Our goal is to make Arc 2 the best game it can be, and to provide a truly exceptional and rewarding experience for players. Unreal Engine 5 is incredibly new technology to us and to all developers, and we aim to use this cutting-edge tech to its fullest potential while creating a game with never-before achieved scope and studio wildcard. As we learn more about the engine and develop the sequel, we have adapted our workflows and adjusted our pipelines to accommodate this new next-generation paradigm. And because of everything that involves, we need more time for development. We sincerely apologize for this delay and genuinely appreciate your understanding. Your support and passion are vital to us, and we will continue to work intensively to deliver the ultimate next-gen dinosaur survival experience. With that in mind, we do not plan to showcase any gameplay, screenshots, videos of Arc 2 this year. However, we do intend to keep you informed and engaged in the development process by regularly showcasing more Arc 2 assets in the months ahead, leading to our gameplay reveal next year. They also announced that they're going to release a current-gen upgrade, which will be paid and will take the official last-gen servers offline, limiting you to host your own server or single-player. People who wrote about this story is Chris Scullion again at VGC, Paul Tassi at Forbes, Christopher Livingston at PC Gamer, and Eddie McCook at GameSpot.
Yeah, so there's a lot to take in with this. First of all, Arc 2 getting delayed. Okay, I'm fine with that. We've read so many stories on this show of just companies treating their workers like shit and crunching them and all of this stuff. And it's fine. We got to so delaying it so that they can learn this new program and not feel the weight of the world on them is a great decision to make, in my opinion. What's not a great decision is taking the servers for the previous generation offline and releasing current gen upgrade that is paid. I'm I understand servers are expensive to run, but I think it should be one or the other. Say, hey, I'm sorry, we're going to shut off the servers to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions of this game. But as long as you have the previous version, you can just upgrade for free to the new version, the PS5 and Xbox Series X version, for free. And you can still keep going. But to take the servers off immediately upon releasing the current gen upgrade, and people have to pay the current gen upgrade, is kind of a shitty thing to do. But maybe that's just me. What about you, Gavin?
I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out, dog.
I just kind
of started staring at the wall for a while.
Oh, that's fine. Basically what Matthew was saying and what I was talking about is, so Arc 2 is delayed, but they are upgrading the original Arc for current gen consoles, so PS5 and Xbox Series X. But you have to buy this current gen upgrade. And as soon as they release the current gen upgrade, they're going to take the servers for the PS4 and the Xbox One versions off line.
That sounded really good at first until you started mentioning how you had to pay, and then everything just went downhill.
Yeah. Well, at first it's like, okay. Yeah, I understand. Wait, what? But yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's like, great for the team to make that decision so they don't have to crunch their employees. Great for releasing a next gen upgrade. If you're going to make people pay for a next gen upgrade, don't take the servers down immediately upon release of the next gen upgrade. Like, either make it, hey, we're going to be taking the servers off, but you can get the current gen upgrade for free because you already own this, own the game for the previous version. Or make them buy the next gen upgrade and be like, hey, if you don't have the console, or if you're not able to buy this next gen upgrade, that's fine. We'll keep the servers on for another, however long. To do both is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
But yeah, side note, not really related to the story. Chris Scullion putting in work this week. The last time we had a doc, it was his coworker. Don't remember which one it was. Hold on. Is it this one? Jordan Midler. It was his coworker Jordan Midler. Last time we had a doc was putting in the work, and this time it's Chris Scullion putting in the work. 3 of our 4 stories so far have had him. So shout out Chris Scullion.
Shout out indeed. Let's visit our friends list. Watch out for Mario at a future direct. This is from Variety's interview with Shigeru Miyamoto. When asked about a new Mario game, Miyamoto had this to say: I can't say anything in advance, but we have Nintendo Directs every 2 or 3 months, so please look forward to those. While there have been numerous remasters, ports, and spin-offs, there hasn't been a new Mario game in 6 years. This interview was due to the release of the Mario movie, which was well received by fans and already is enjoying box office success. People who wrote about the story: Hey Dad, Chris Scullion at VGC, Logan Moore at Comic Book, and Liam Doolin at Nintendo Life.
Yeah, so going back to where's my phone? Let's take a look at our friends list, shall we? The friend that told me some things, some predictions he had.
One thing I have to say,
Yeah,
I just found a joke that kind of caught me off guard a little bit because I wasn't expecting it to see it.
yeah.
It says, "I'm a C-section baby. It's never my birthday. I wasn't born. I was evicted." I saw that. I was like, "Damn, that's funny."
Yeah. All right, so remember this was a few weeks ago. Our I have someone that told me that Pokemon Stadium would be announced next week. Guess what? It was announced. Then one other thing he said is Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars remaster for the Switch. And here Miyamoto is like, hey, you want Mario content? Keep a look at the Nintendo Directs. This guy's good. So that's what I'm gonna say. I can't. Also, I did look up his other. I did say I was going to look up what else he had said because I said he was in for previous direct and had some predictions. And the predictions that he got right about that particular direct is Metroid Prime Remastered being not only being announced but being stealth dropped. Those were two separate predictions that both came true. And then he said Game Boy Color coming to NSO and Game Boy Advance coming to NSO expansion pass, which those came true. And then he also said that Advance Wars was going to get a release date. It got a release date in that direct. And then he did mention Super Mario RPG: The Legend of the Seven Stars, which was not announced at that direct, but he has since mentioned again. And then Miyamoto's hinting at a Mario. So, what do you think about Miyamoto? What do you think about our friend of the show, who has been saying these crazy things and getting them right?
I don't really have any opinions on Miyamoto, but fucking your friend, dude, is a psychic.
I think his uncle works at Nintendo. Yeah. So also good on Miyamoto for like he hasn't really, from what I understand, he hasn't been involved in game development for a couple of years because he's been a producer on this movie, at least in name, but I'm sure he has been consulting with them. And for the movie to have the box office success and be well received by fans, critics did not well receive it, but critics, from everything I've heard, critics were wrong. It was like, I understand that fans can purposely manipulate numbers for like reviews and stuff, but the discrepancy between the critics' review and Mario's review, or and the fans' review of Mario, is just astronomical. It's like a 56% difference in how it's received, which is not insignificant at all. But yeah, they so good on him for having such a great reviewed movie. The fact that he's hinting at anything is crazy. It's crazy we haven't had a new Mario game in 6 years. It's crazy that he's hinting at anything, because normally Nintendo's like, no, we don't do that. They won't know until we tell them. But what are they going to do? It's Shigeru Miyamoto. What are they going to do? Fire him? He created Mario. He created Donkey Kong. He created The Legend of Zelda. He created Pikmin. They're not going to fire
Yeah.
him. He literally, if he wanted to, he could be like, I don't give a fuck, and just spill the news. And what are they going to do? He's a Nintendo legend. But, yeah, I just want to keep pushing this Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars remaster for the Switch. I just want to keep pushing that because, you know what? I trust this guy. I trust this guy whose uncle works at Nintendo. Obviously, I don't know if his uncle actually works at Nintendo, but that's always the saying, right?
Right.
Trust me, my uncle works at Nintendo.
My uncle's a Nintendouche.
Yeah, Nintendouche. Well, my dog is going nuts. I'm getting a little tired because we did have a almost half-hour long editorials for you guys to listen to. I'm going to tease again. It is about me scamming a scammer. So please check that out if you can financially do so. And go ahead and take it away, Matthew.
If you liked or even if you didn't like this podcast, make sure to do all of the things like hitting the like button and hitting the bell at the XofPlays on YouTube. Of course, that's after you hit the subscribe button as well. Or giving it a high rating on whatever podcast service you use so you can find like-minded people. Be sure to tell people about the show. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow. And I brought it up before, but on patreon.com/thebriefing-room, you can financially support the show and get cool rewards as well. That's all from us. Take care.
Take care.